My name is Siggy. I'm from Iceland. Grew up on a farm in Iceland.
My name is Jaap Krater. I'm from the Netherlands.
I'm Ólafur Páll Sigurðsson, Icelandic, poet and filmmaker. Well, the Kárahnjúkadams are being built right in the heart of the Icelandic Central Highlands. We are to the east, and they are being built solely to power an Alcoa, American Aluminium Corporation, plant in one of the eastern fjords, Reyðarfjörður. And this is basically the greatest environmental catastrophe for a long time in European history, as it is actually destroying the last great pristine wilderness left in Western Europe.
So I feel this is volcanically active, it's tectonically active, it's highly permeable, and there are active faults underneath the highest rock dam in Europe, and that it is very hard for me to be convinced that these dams are safe. And if you lose them, one of the two dams, they can go very fast, especially the Coffin Dam, in a few hours. And then the water mass here at the highest lake level is similar as the massive flooding in Vatnajökull in 1996. And therefore I thought it was absolutely unacceptable for the parliament to pass this law unless the owner, the National Power Company, would include this fault system into their assessment and show that the dams would still be safe.
Even if they had started building the dams, they had to be resisted vigorously, especially because of all the other dam projects and geothermal projects that were to follow in the wake of the Kárahnjúkadams.
I'm Jess, and we're sitting in Titnor Woods, which is a protest site near Worthing on the south coast, and it's been running since May last year to stop building development, which is about 850 houses, and a Tesco's, which is over there next to where there's already a Tesco's. They're going to demolish the old one and build a new one. So a lot of what's happening in Titnor is kind of directly pinched from the protest movement of the 90s. You know, the idea of having tree houses and digging tunnels and stuff, those were really successful tactics then, so they're being recycled now to great effect.
Now, the ecological direct action movement is really spread around the world, and one of the existing networks for environmental direct action that was started at the end of the 70s in the United States is called Earth First. In Holland we started Dutch Earth First, or Green Front as it's called in Holland, Groen Front, in the mid-90s. And since then we've been doing environmental direct action.
We need to just take the politics away from the politicians. That's what we need to do. It's direct action. We as just normal citizens should be able to go and say, no, stop this work because I disagree. So, you know, when something out of the ordinary happens in Iceland, it has something to do with alcohol usually. And yeah, it's just someone got too drunk on a Saturday night and run around naked or something, you know, but when someone goes totally sober into a working space and says, hey, I disagree with this, what you're doing here, so I'm ready to take a risk of you hurting me in stopping it. it's totally new to Icelanders.
So yeah, we basically desperately needed international support.
About 2 years ago, this nice Icelandic man came to Brighton and he did a talk at our social centre, and it was very inspiring, and a group of us decided that we were going to go out, and then we did.
Direct action, there's all sorts of things about direct action, and I think a lot of stuff did go on. There were some really successful actions stopping people locking onto vehicles and stuff like that, which were really successful. It brought a lot of media attention, and the Icelandic people didn't seem, and the Icelandic media really acted differently to the UK media. The UK media have seen it all before. The Icelandic media was just like, wow, what are they doing? I think that Iceland is very different to a lot of other Western societies, which I certainly hadn't taken into consideration when I went there. And it doesn't have the same historical environmental campaigns in the same way that we do. So we've got different experiences, but of course we have to work with Icelandic people to see what's appropriate for like their climate and stuff like that. Was just not really what I was expecting at all. So I think that working between international people, and also seeing that, because I don't believe in countries being separate to each other, I don't believe in borders. So yeah, they are the closest people, and that's what I think is important, but it's not just because it's their country, it's all of our land and all of us have to protect it.
Now, one reason that I think this campaign in Iceland is so important is because it's really, for me, a figurehead for all the different heavy industry projects and large dam projects that there are in other countries, like in the Amazon, in India. But if we manage to stop this process of industrialization, and if we manage to stop a number of these large dams in Iceland, this can be a great inspiration for people in developing countries who are also resisting these similar kinds of projects, in the same way that we stopped the road building projects in Britain in the 90s.
I think that they did a very good job at making people not realise what was being lost by taking them to the viewpoint which they dug up. And it was just such a horrible place to be. It was just, it looked like being in a quarry. It was horrible, but 500 metres away was beautiful land that just is not ours to spoil, and that's what's so important, is that these people were just trying to deceive an Icelandic nation as to what they were doing, what they were losing.
If you look at climate change, and if you look at what's left of wilderness on the earth, it's really vital to fight now and preserve what we have left, and to limit the effects of climate change. Because otherwise, yeah, you have a factory now, but in 100 years, what's left for your kids? Not much.
I think that some people are surprised that there are foreigners coming to Iceland, but to take part in this fight, in this campaign. But it's not strange at all. You know, you can't open the media anymore without someone talking about climate crisis. This is part of the climate crisis. Well, why shouldn't then people come to Iceland to protest and take part in trying to save this earth? So coming to Iceland to protest is part of surviving.